Yeah, you read it right. I replaced my $10,000 Sony A7S III with the 24mm GM lens for an iPhone 14 Pro. Everything you see in this video was shot on the brand new iPhone 14 Pro, and you should be the judge if you see any difference. Of course, we should compare it against it, so I'll show you pictures and videos shot not only on the new iPhone 14 Pro, but the 13 Pro as well and my Sony A7S III. Throughout the video you can see the difference for yourself, so why don't we play a little game? I won't show which is which and write down your guess that you can comment before the end of the video, where I will reveal it and also put it in the description under the like button, which by the way you could smash if you enjoyed this little game and the video and our time together, since it would be a great help. Also, if you are interested in the specs in general, I have a dedicated video about it and give you a quite surprising and shocking verdict, so just in case I'll put it on the end screen and in the description as well. Now, roll that intro and let's dive in. What's up everyone, Peter here. Is it just me, or us content creators, indie filmmakers are mostly buying a new phone for their cameras? It just happens to be able to make phone calls, play music, surf the web, and has some cool apps. What do you think? Let's discuss it in the comments. Hold on, let me just grab my phone. Look at that large camera bump. It just looks so beautiful, doesn't it? Wait, gotcha! This is my old iPhone 13 Pro, since I'm filming the entire video from the talking head to the B-rolls on the new iPhone 14 Pro in cinematic mode in 4K, which by the way is indeed an upgrade from last year's Full HD, but we already knew that the only reason they left it out was that they put it in this year, right? Anyways, how was the rec focus when I stepped out of the frame or zoomed in for the 13 Pro? I feel like it is almost perfect. I mean, if you are just casually watching a vid here on YouTube, you wouldn't notice it, that it's artificial. Of course, now you are paying close attention, might recognize some unnatural blur. Also, I will try to move more to see if we can throw off the focus so you can see how it performs. But nothing else was set up. I just set it in 4K cinematic mode and hit record, and we'll see. So yeah, the main question that we all are wondering about and we should find out today is that, is this phone good enough to replace a cinema camera for things like studio setup, for talking head angles, or travel, or even creamy B-rolls? So as a disclaimer, I will treat the iPhone 14 Pro exactly the same way as I do my Sony A7S III. I mean, I do use professional lighting, I do use my Sennheiser MKH416 for this crispy audio, but the picture you see is the iPhone. My point here is that you are going to need a few things, but this whole video is shot on the phone is just next level. So why don't we go out to the city and snap some 48 megapixel photos both in JPEG and 48 megapixel RAW, and also test out the different video modes for some creamy B-roll and compare them against the 13 Pro and the A7S III. Okay, let's fire up Lightroom and Final Cut Pro 10. I'll make some edits and show you the final results. First, let's check out this landscape photo of the beautiful St. Stephen's Basilica here in Budapest. By the way, this is my favorite landmark in my hometown. Isn't it just stunning? Let me stop here for a sec. Remember our little game? So now grab a notepad, virtual or an old school one, and write down your tips for footage 1 and guess which is iPhone 14 Pro, 13 Pro and Sony A7S III A, B, C. So here they are again. Done? Good. Just to twist things up, here are two shots just from the iPhone 14 Pro. One is the JPEG and the other one the RAW. Let's call this footage 2. I will zoom in into the details, but I think that will give away the tell. But make a guess, A or B is the raw. Now onto the second scene, which shows a nice background blur with this close-up to this fountain and statue. Again, guess what footage 3 is? Before I show you a macro shot, why don't we cut in some creamy B-roll shot on the phones and the A7S III as well. You see these clips, this is footage number 4. Watch them again or just make a guess. Got it? And now it's time for the macro. I will be using the two phones and I switch my A7S III lens to the 90mm macro, so it will be a fair game. And let's call this footage number 5. Which one is which? Got everything? Why don't we take a break from our little game and let me show you some BTS of how I was running around, which serves as a great spot for testing the new action mode, which I was quite excited about. Incredible. Just incredible. No need for gimbals anymore. But I wanted to see that how it compares against the normal mode, and to spice things up, I was using my 13 Pro for that, so here is it side by side with and without the action mode. I don't know how about you, but the non-action mode of the iPhone 13 Pro actually looked pretty damn good, and Marek, my friend, follow him on Instagram, was literally running with me and the camera was shaking like crazy. And just to take it one step further, here they are again, but now compared to the Sony A7S III with active stabilization turned on. Right out of the bat, we can declare that the iPhones destroyed the A7S III, which is crazy. So yeah, if you see yourself using a run-and-gun setup for filming, just go with the iPhone. But comparing the 13 Pro to the 14 Pro, it's tough. While I can see the difference, I wanted to see what happens if I apply the built-in stabilizer in Final Cut Pro to the iPhone 13 Pro non-action mode footage, and here, still, the difference is so minor. Okay, one place where you can actually see the difference is when you are filming yourself and shaking the phone like crazy, and just check the background and the buildings, how stable it is. So, if you do adventure vlogging, then you will need an iPhone 14 Pro either in action mode or in other mode. It just does way better for sure. So to sum up the features, you get a brand new 48 megapixel sensor with not only 3x but 2x zoom, 4K cinematic mode, improved autofocus with focus racking that is almost like a cinema camera. You can go up to 1 terabyte of space, which you might need. Just for you to know, I put the file sizes of this talking head setup on the screen so you get an idea. If you think about it, all these were impossible 10 years ago, not happening, But if you rewind just 1 year, well, you could pretty much do the same quality as you could see from the footages. So on one hand, tech is moving so fast, but year over year, I don't know. If you already have an iPhone 13 Pro, I just save the money and spend it on an awesome trip where you could trust the 13 Pro to capture super dope and high quality shots. It is not about the quality of the footage anymore, since, yeah, you can achieve almost the same quality as with the 10 times more expensive setup. But finally, it is about us, the creators, and what story we come up with and how we tell that story. I love that high quality gear is getting more and more accessible for more and more people, and I love to be the part of it and see the awesome things that we come up with. To answer the question, before we say goodbye, no, I won't be completely replacing my mirrorless camera setup, but I kinda already did. I tell you what I mean in a minute, but total transparency here, there are situations where I do need my mirrorless camera expensive setup when using a particular lens in low light conditions, when I use a rig with external monitors and V-mount batteries, where I want to leverage the 10-bit 422 S-Log footage that it can offer. But what I meant earlier is that there are times when I just reach to my phone in my pocket and don't even think about messing with my heavy gear. Just the other day I was at this event and I already packed my gear, but saw something cool, so being a lazy ass, I didn't take my backpack off and assemble my gear. Hell no, I just grabbed my phone and guess what? The footage is totally usable and the client didn't even notice that there were some shots that were shot on an iPhone. And this was a paid pro gig. That is just awesome. I love that we live in a time like this where the gap is closing and closing. Before I reveal the footages, let me just say that I hope you got something out of this video. I could add something to the many reviews that you most likely already saw here on YouTube. If I did, please consider showing some love by liking this video, would be a great help. Also, if you are into videography, B-roll, storytelling and finding the best gears, tutorials, smash that like button with the notification bell as well. I have tons of content coming up and I can promise you, you are not gonna regret it. Follow me on Insta and TikTok since I will be posting many iPhone photos and reels there as well. So, stick around, maybe watch one of my videos about my home studio setup. I will put it here. And these very spaces, oh boy, serious hours went into them to create this space with so many cool gadgets and hacks. But now, here are the results. But before, make sure to comment your guesses and let's start the conversation. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.